Welcome to another edition of Fitness Over 30. I am Omarai, and I have the pleasure of being surrounded by lovely ladies today. How you guys doing? Good. I got Jen Beck, and I've got Rebecca Heck here with me. So today, guys, we're talking about Fitness Over 30 from you guys' perspective. As we just finished talking, we probably should have been taping 5 minutes ago because you guys just spilled a whole plethora of great information. But I hope you can reduplicate that, guys. And tell us a little bit about what Fitness Over 30 means to you.
Oh, look at us.
Do the heck first.
We want each other to go. Okay, Fitness Over 30, what it means to me. I feel like it means sharing our perspectives of our life journey with health, right? So things that we have gone through, what we've watched our clients go through, what we've grown up with, what we've learned, and share it with everybody. Some of the things that we were talking about 5 minutes ago, and I think we ended on this note, is just a reminder that the whole body is connected. Everything affects everything else. So if you're having a problem in one area, understand that may be affecting your whole psyche, mind, body, and soul. Just bearing that in mind. And I'll let Jen.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's we're one being, and we were talking about how the doctor's approach is to be able to segment everything out. So we've got, a heart doctor and a GI doc and an endocrinologist and a rheumatologist, versus looking at the person as a whole being. And if we're looking at treating symptoms, we're just putting Band-Aids on everything.
Correct.
Versus getting to the root of the problem. I think I've shared this with you before, Omarai, but my idea, the image that comes to mind, if we're talking about the difference between a holistic approach and a medical approach, if my house is on fire and my neighbor is a doctor and he hears me screaming, freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on, he comes over and he goes, all right, let me assess the situation. We're going to address the loudest, biggest problem first. And he walks over to the smoke alarm, pulls the battery out, hands me the battery and $200 bill. Problem solved. You're good. Took care of that problem.
Right.
And I'm like, but my house is still on fire. Like, you didn't solve anything. We just put a Band-Aid on a symptom of it, the smoke or the blaring in your ear.
Right.
So a holistic approach is really looking at getting to the root of the problem, putting out that fire, and then helping to rebuild the house so that we have the ability to function at our highest level. I mean, our bodies have the ability to heal itself, but we have to give it the right nutrients and remove the interference to allow it to do so.
Yeah, that's
correct. And I think to add to that, what's going on in our minds is of the utmost importance.
Yes.
We can talk ourselves in and out of all kinds of ridiculousness. And
that's so true.
We can convince ourselds that we have a brain tumor, and we can
Right.
convince ourselves that we're totally fine, even though literally inside the house is on fire.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The body is dying and needs help. So having that positive attitude is just more important than anything else. You have to start out with that every day.
Yeah.
100% agree. Yeah.
And it's amazing because just going on what you're talking about, there's a lot of evidence now saying that our disease is manifesting from emotional blocks that we have in our body. So when we have the ability to remove those emotional, I call them emotional sticks, right? We store issues in our tissues.
Right.
When we have the ability to remove that, our body has the potential to heal again.
Oh, absolutely, because we almost, I would say, clog our systems up.
Yeah.
With our sadness, our perceptions of what's going on around us, our depression, things that are upsetting to us. Because when you think about it, when you're sad and upset and depressed, what happens to your breathing? Mm-hmm. What happens to your posture? What happens to just the functioning? Then your stomach hurts. Then your head hurts.
Yeah.
Everything starts to just go, right?
Yeah.
And that all stems from what was going on in your mind. Not that all these symptoms are in your head. I'm not calling us all hypochondriacs, don't get me wrong. Right. It literally sets off a chemical reaction in the body that you do start feeling all of these real symptoms. But the root cause isn't taking an anti-inflammatory or taking or taking something for the headache and taking a Tums for the tummy or or whatever it is. These are just, again, Band-Aids over things. The issue is then to address what went on in the mind that got us in that state in the first place. Let's go back. Let's reverse the circles all the way back to that point. Yeah. What can we do to change that before it cascades into this hot mess?
Yeah, absolutely. I think about, when you're talking about that, I think about a client that I have who has had weight issues since her dad passed. She had I would say her dad was fairly abusive, and when he wasn't, he was absent. And then so she put on a lot of weight when he passed, because that last year, she was in her early 20s, that last year they'd actually had a relationship. Well, now she's depressed because she didn't have that time with her dad, and she doesn't have any time going forward. So she's dealing with weight issues with that. Well, fast forward 15 years, now she's in a massively stressful situation at work. Her boss has no backbone. She's getting railroaded by an employee, and then the employee gets fired and her boss dies. And so now she's experienced this amount of stress for a year, and then the passing of her boss and this employee and everything else. So now she's got fibromyalgia on top of that. And none of the health decline started until that stressful time with her boss.
Exactly.
And so it's one layer on top of another layer on top of another layer, but all of that stuff roots in our emotion and in our mind.
That's so true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just so much stress and emotion that we have a tendency to not deal with any of it. We just take it, we keep shoving it down, whether we shove it down with hiding ourselves, whether we shove it down with yelling or screaming, or whether we shove it down with cookies and donuts, whatever it is, we just keep shoveling it down into ourselves, and we don't deal with it. And then our body literally breaks out from the inside, whether it be fibromyalgia or a rash, or whatever it is. That stress is just a killer. And learning how to accept the situation around you, the perspective that you take it with, and maybe just take a few moments to breathe. You would not believe how many people I see, even when they're working out or when they're stressed out, that they are holding their breath. Hold the pose, not the breath. Hold the weight, not the breath. Don't ever hold your breath, because restricting oxygen to the body can be very hard on the body, and the blood flow, that can cause stress, just exercise stress inside the body, which reacts pretty similarly. You need to keep that flowing through the body. There should always be a flow going. Things shouldn't be stiff and hard like that inside. That makes it worse.
It's funny you say that. I just did a workshop on mindfulness, and part of that was teaching people diaphragmatic breathing. So put your hand on your belly, take a deep breath, and I did a really short one. Breathe in for 4, hold it for 2, and breathe out for 7. Normally I do 7, hold it for 4, out for 10. But even just doing the shorter breath, I have people that are lightheaded and dizzy because they weren't used to that much oxygen in their brain. So it's amazing how many of us just breathe shallowly, and we live in that fight or flight state versus really in that rest and restore phase.
Oh, yes, and then your cortisol levels are never normal. They're always up.
I don't understand why I can't lose weight, though.
Well, ask them if they're getting enough sleep either. Which is, then as we correlate through our day with all this high cortisol levels, we're all stressed out, we're shoving things down. Then we try to unwind, we're exhausted. Then we lay down and go to bed, and everyone's laying there staring at the ceiling, I can't sleep, which is just making it all worse, more worse than it already was. Because without the sleep and all the sleep cycles, the deep sleep, the light sleep, the REM sleep, you cannot get into a mode in the morning where you feel refreshed, because it's only in those sleep cycles that your brain cleans itself out of all the toxins and all the stuff that's going on with it, and it starts to store memory, and it affects so much that goes on with the brain. And if you don't get that, and you wake up in the morning and you still feel foggy and you feel like a hot mess as well, it's like you just never get out of that cycle. It's just a perpetuating nightmare that you never get out of, because then you get up in the morning and you don't feel great, and right there you're like, I don't feel well, it's going to be a bad day. Before you exactly. Before you even put one foot on the floor, you've already manifested your entire day in your head. It's like, don't go there. You don't know what the day is going to bring. Let it come to you. Wake up, smile, everything's still going to be tough. There's still all the issues to deal with. That's fine. Put a smile on your face and just be grateful that you're here, because what's the alternative, right?
One of the things I love as a tool for really shifting that morning time is the 5-minute journal. So it's a hardcover book or it's an app, but in the morning you list 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you're committed to doing to make today great, and then 1 affirmation.
I love that.
Starting out your morning in the positive. And then at the night, you take a couple minutes and you recount 3 amazing things that happened, and what's one thing that I can do to make today, that I could have done to make today better. So in the morning, you're bracketing it with positivity to start with your day with intention. And at night, you're recapping amazing things and then giving your subconscious mind one thing to work on.
Right.
Not the lamenting list of the 30 things that I could have, should have, would have, needed to do.
Right.
But just one thing that I could have done to make today better. And then your brain works on the positive while we're sleeping. And then we're creating a positive cycle of ebb and flow throughout our day. So we're really bracketing our day with that positivity and intention.
Oh, I love that. And I think that it's very important to add to that, separating out our real wants and needs.
Yeah.
And what are real problems that we need to deal with, and what are our champagne problems that we're getting ourselves all wrapped up in that really aren't all that big of a thing when we sit down and really dissect that in our head. Like, come on, is this something to really get stressed out and upset about, or are we just trying to escape from all the other stuff that we have to really deal with that's important by just kind of delving into this because we know it's not that life or death kind of situation or something that's truly important.
Yeah. And that's what I love so much about what Fitness Over 30 is doing, is it's creating this platform for people to have, experts that they can be able to listen to and learn from on how to shift their day with their mentality, right? Because mindset goes to everything. But then also, how do we create a healthy nervous system? How do we lose weight? How do we eat well? How do we, incorporate exercise into our life in a healthy way that doesn't feel like it's work?
Right.
Right? And being able to have things like, tapping into some of the more unique aspects of wellness, things like the meridian cleanses and, things that aren't necessarily mainstream but are so critical to really having this maximum health and vitality. And so we get a chance to be able to share that platform, and I'm excited and privileged to be a part of it because that, for me, is my mission in life. We put my mom in a nursing home at 49 years old because of her multiple sclerosis.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So in that moment of experiencing that, and she'd been on all the medications to make sure that didn't happen, right? And so in that moment, I was hell-bent to go out and find something that would help her. But at the same time, I made a decision that I was going to do whatever I could so that no family ever had to experience that again. So, I'm excited about Fitness Over 30 for the collaboration that we have, for the inspiration and the education that we can be able to offer, and to really reach out to folks and give them a place of hope and knowledge to make some shifts and changes.
Oh, I just love that. And I'm so sorry about your mom. How is she now?
Thank you. She actually passed away about 4 years ago. But she had been living in a nursing home and a group home after that for 20 years. So she is finally at peace. She lived with MS for over 4 years. So,
wow.
And was just, never complained once. Now, granted, if you ask her what she wanted for Christmas or birthday, she'd be like, I'd love a new body. But outside of that,
exactly.
she just went with the flow. And she taught me grace and acceptance like nothing else ever could.
Great gift.
So huge.
That's powerful, Jen. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you. I was just going to say, I think that it's very important for all of us off of this. Know your body. Know who you are as a person. When you're speaking of exercise, don't jump into something just because your friend is doing it. Really, everything that works for one person, it might be different for you. And probably is, because we are all very different humans. We're all humans, but we're all very different with different needs. So really know, are you the kind of person that needs other people to be working out with to get you there? Are you the kind of person that needs to stick your headphones on and just dive down into it and be on your own and not be talking to anybody else around you?
Right.
Are you the kind of person that needs to go to a class and have loud music and that kind of energy and excitement?
Yeah.
Who are you as your exercise personality?
Yeah.
Figure that out first, because then you will look forward and enjoy it. If you are getting up in the morning and you are like putting your workout clothes on and you're getting ready and you're like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, you are definitely not doing the correct exercise personality for you. You need to sit down and figure out, am I a yoga person? Do I really need that deep breathing and stretching? Do I enjoy that? Do I need to go for a run? Am I just so full of stress and upset that I just need to literally run it out of my body?
Yeah.
What is you? What is you? You be you.
Right.
Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. As long as you are being you and you are doing that 3 times a week. Start out 3 times a week for 30 minutes and start adding on to that.
Yeah.
Just get yourself involved in the process. It doesn't have to be this all or nothing scenario. I find this all the time. If I'm not working out every day, I'm not doing anything. Well, what is that? That's we're either obsessed or completely neglectful. There's a happy medium in here.
Right.
Can we please find that? And
I like to say all or something versus all or nothing.
I like that.
Right. Just do something. Just get your body moving. Just do something.
Yes.
And then from there, figure out what balance that is and how often you should do it that works best for your body.
Right. And if you happen to be someone that's home all day, I mean, I stayed home with my kids. I was home a lot of the time. Set an alarm to go off every hour and run up and down the stairs for 10 minutes.
Right.
I mean, just do something.
Yeah.
We did that a lot. Teach your kids games where you got to chase after them. They love to run away from you. That's not hard. Right. Okay. Just get moving every hour. It's so easy to just sit down and not move. But what happens when you get up from that? You feel stiff. You feel uncomfortable. You don't feel right. Your brain, your whole body needs that activity. We are built to move around. We are not built to be sedentary. So get up and go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, ladies, I say that was a really refreshing take on what fitness over 30 means. I mean, you guys really put it down. I enjoyed that thoroughly. And I hope the public will too. And guys, we have a lot more to offer. We're going to be bringing on, we have a guy who does energy work. We have a chiropractor who does energy work. We have Jen, the nutritionist. We have Rebecca, the health coach, personal trainer, and she does shows as well, so it's a lot that she offers, and I'm just an old Pilates instructor, personal trainer.
Bring it all.
And we have a martial artist. But if you guys like the concept and would like to join our team as we journey, we are always looking for good people. We definitely have said we need a good medical doctor who is not necessarily focused on the money side. We want people, because the money's going to come if you're giving the care. So we're putting it out there. We want a medical doctor on our team, but we want you to have certain criteria. So you'll have to pass the interview of all of us. That's right. But then once you join the team, you will see the benefits. So thank you guys. I hope you have a great day. Take care.